सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Sairam everyone. With Swami's grace, we will begin the study of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita called Sankhya Yoga today. As all of you know, Bhagavad Gita is one of the foundational texts of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. Swami has spoken about it many times in his discourses. Swami has also penned the Gita Vahini. It is considered one of the basic texts which every Hindu should study. There are three texts which are considered Prasthanatrayas, which is Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and the Upanishads, which has to be studied by every Hindu. At least the essence of these have to be studied. But Bhagavad Gita is considered the essence of all the Upanishads. If you read the Gita Vahini, Swami speaks about it in chapter 1 of the Gita Vahini. A few of you had asked, why are we studying the second chapter? So I am just going to give some highlights and the reason why it was picked up. And then we'll go from there. Yes, Auntie, can I get it?
Meaning of Sankhya Yoga.
Auntie?
What is the study of Sankhya Yoga, you say?
Sankhya.
Sankhya. What is the meaning of Sankhya?
Yes, so I think I will read Swami's discourse, Auntie, and then I will.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Saira.
So this I have excerpted from Swami's Vahini, Bhagavad Gita Vahini. I should say Bhagavad Gita is it. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm right. So I had taken it from in chapter 5 of Gita Vahini. Swami is talking about actually chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 4 chapters in which Swami is covering various aspects of the Sankhya Yoga in the Gita Vahini. So this is from the Telugu, and then I will translate because in the Telugu what Swami has written is much more clearer than the English translation. So I have taken the Telugu version and also have given the meaning of that excerpt. జీవిత కురుక్షేత్ర సంగ్రామ రంగమున అతి దీనుడై విభ్రాంతుడై దిక్కు తెన్ను తోచక నిర్వేదించే మానవునకు మాధవుడు సాంఖ్య యోగోపదేశము ప్రసాదించెను. తక్కిన అధ్యాయములు వ్యాఖ్యానములుగా 2వ అధ్యాయమైన సాంఖ్య యోగమునందే అమరియున్నవి. ఇందులో సందేహము లేదు. So the translation goes like that: in the battlefield of life, because the Kurukshetra, Jivita Kurukshetra is the word Swami used in Telugu, That means in the battlefield of life, of action, in which all of us are engaged. To the human being who is utterly dejected, confused, and unable to discern the direction or purpose, Madhava, Lord Krishna, bestowed the teaching of Sankhya Yoga. The rest of the chapters are but elaborations and explanations of this second chapter, the Sankhya Yoga. There is no doubt in this. So what Swami says is, the second chapter contains the entire essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The message which Krishna wanted to give to Arjuna was no one but a representative of every human being who is dejected, confused, and troubled in this field of life on earth. So the rest of the chapters are actually a commentary on what is already contained in the second chapter. So by studying the second chapter, actually we will touch on all aspects of the Bhagavad Gita. So that's what Swami has said, and there are many commentators who have also spoken about this. Okay, so that's the reason. I will take another excerpt. Of the 18 chapters of the Gita, of the 18 chapters of the Gita, Sankhya Yoga is very important. Mahatma Gandhi used to read Sankhya Yoga twice or thrice whenever his mind was restless and perturbed. It restored the peace of his mind. Sankhya Yoga is the life of the Gita. The name is derived from the inquiry of Sankhya in the chapter. Sankhya Yoga revealed the features of Sthita Prajna to Arjuna and chased away his delusions. So I will just go over just for everyone's sake, the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. I thought I will just go through. The Bhagavad Gita contains 18 chapters and it contains 700 verses or shlokas in these 18 chapters. And so the second chapter, which is Sankhya Yoga, is one of the largest. It is just a few verses short of the final chapter, 18 chapter. But this is one of the longest chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. I will just quickly go through. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is despondency of Arjuna. Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means enumeration, counting, enumeration, that's what it means, taking count. Karma Yoga is yoga of action. Jnana Yoga is the fourth chapter, yoga of knowledge. The chapter 5 is Sannyasa Yoga. It's a yoga of renunciation. Dhyana Yoga is the next one, which is a yoga of meditation. Jnana Vijnana Yoga is the chapter 7. It's a yoga of knowledge and wisdom. Chapter 8 is Akshara Brahma Yoga, the imperishable absolute. Yoga of the imperishable absolute. Chapter 9 is Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. It's a sovereign science and secret, very secretive knowledge, which actually leads to yes, Santikana, yes.
Sorry, yeah, accidentally it happened.
Okay, sorry. So no problem. So Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga, which is Raja Yoga, which is it's more or less equivalent to the Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. Chapter 10 is Vibhuti Yoga, the yoga of divine glories. Then chapter 11 is Vishwarupa Dharshana Yoga, the yoga of seeing the universal form. Bhakti Yoga is the 12th chapter. I think we have already done a study of that, which is yoga of devotion. 13th chapter is Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. The difference between the field and the knower of the field. A yoga of that. 14th chapter is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. The yoga of three gunas, or distinction of the three gunas. The chapter 15 is Purushottama Yoga, yoga of the supreme persona of the Lord. Chapter 16 is Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the divine and demoniac qualities. The chapter 17 is Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, the threefold faith, the yoga of threefold faith. The final chapter 18 is Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of liberation and renunciation. So of these 18 chapters, we are going to study the Sankhya Yoga. I have given the meaning as enumeration. There are many places, many books call it with different things. There are Bhagavad Gita books you will find where they would call it Yoga of Jnana also, Yoga of knowledge. And there's a reason for it, but we will discuss it later on. There's also the use of the word discrimination for Sankhya. Yoga of discrimination is also another English translation. But let's just discuss what is Sankhya Yoga initially, if you could. Sankhya Yoga made of two words, Sankhya and Yoga. The first word Sankhya comes from the word Sankhya. Sankhya means count. If the process of counting is Sankhya. So Sankhya is this process of counting, this has come about. Whatever comes out of counting. So that's I have given the word enumeration. The reason it is given this word is Sankhya Yoga is a yoga which is attributed to sage Kapila. Sage Kapila is the one who is the propounder of Sankhya Darshana. So there are, in the Hindu school of philosophy, there are what are called Shad Darshanas. There are 6 philosophies, you can say, and one of them is Sankhya. So in the Sankhya Yoga, what Kapila does is, he counts all the elemental components of which we see in this world. So he lists 24 as the different elements of which constitute this world. So the Pancha Indriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas, and Pancha Koshas. All these 5 make up 20. Along with that, then there is Antakarana is again broken into 5, but the 4 are Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. These are the inner organs of us. And beyond this is the Atma. So what Kapila is analysis is all these elements which we see and experience in this world, which make the world function, and the 4 inner instruments of along with the 20 which is the sthula or the gross body, gross form in this world. All of them are jada. That means they are anatman. They are not atma. What is atman is the jivatma, who is the 25th. So counting this is the process of Sankhya. So Swami has taken the same thing, and that is why we chant the Omkaram 21 times every day in the morning. The 21 times Omkaram is the 20 Omkarams are for each of these elements. And the last one actually for the Antakarana, which includes all the Manas, Manas, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankara. So this 21 Omkaram is to energize and divinize all these anatma components, with which we function every day. But all these are jada, and this jada means they are inert substances, and these inert substances have to be divinized. That's why we chant 21 Omkara. So actually, we have the tendency to count 1, 2, 3 when we chant Om. It does not it does not give us any benefit. Each Omkaram, we should know what we are chanting it for, what we should divinize. So these are Swami's, there are discourses on this Swami has spoken. I think I may have mentioned it when we discussed Suprabhatam or before that, when we initiated it. I can't remember. And I think sometime back we had, a couple of years ago also we had discussed it. So the 21 Omkaram which we chant also is closely linked to Sankhya Yoga. That process of chanting Omkaram should make us remind ourselves that all these aspects of this gross world which we use and we attach to are not Atman, they are Anatman. The Atman is beyond that. So the Sankhya Yoga is the one which takes each of these aspects and says, you are not this, you are not this, and takes you to the Atma stage. That's the process of discrimination which all of us have to undertake. And that is what Krishna is taking Arjuna through in the second chapter. That you are the Atman, you are not the body, you don't die, people don't die. Body dies, Atman is imperishable. These are aspects which Krishna is speaking to Arjuna about. So because of that, that discrimination also comes into being. That is why this is also called the yoga of discrimination. It's also called yoga of jnana because this is the foundational step. This discriminative activity or action is the foundational step for the cultivation of jnana in us. The end product of this exercise will result in jnana, it will give us bhakti, it will give us sannyasa also. And it will ultimately give us moksha. So that is the whole idea of the Sankhya Yoga. So it's a humble attempt of studying this. For me personally, I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully through this study, we will be able to imbibe the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And so we will begin this journey with Swami's help. So as we go along, you will find that we will touch on all the other chapters as well. I will get excerpts which are relevant at different points in the time, where different aspects of sadhana or different aspects covered in the Bhagavad Gita are touched, and you will find it. Yes, Auntie Anagesh, I don't know, your hand is still up.
Yes, yeah, no, this time it is real.
Okay.
Saira. The Sankhya, Nkya, when you transliterate, what are the alphabets there? One is in,
Sure, Auntie. So the second letter, that's why I made a big one here.
yeah, it looks like a flower.
Yeah, so there are 3 letters involved. The first letter in Nga. Nga is the 5th letter in the Ka Varga. Ka, Ka, Ga, Gha, Nga.
Yeah.
In Tamil, people will say Ingana. Okay, that is the first letter. So it Ing. The second letter is the second letter in the Ka Varga, which is Ka and Kha. That Ka is the second one. So Sang, Kha, the second one. The third letter is Ya.
Yeah, that is the yeah.
Ing, Ik, and Ya. Sankhya.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Okay.
welcome, Auntie. Yes, Brother Vimalesan.
Sairam, sorry, maybe you already said and I missed it, but I just want to clear the name of the chapter, the Sankhya for the enumeration. That word and how does that relate to this chapter?
So yes, enumeration is counting.
Correct.
Okay. Taking count is enumeration.
Right.
So what we do is we count all the elemental substances in this world. That's what Kapila says. For example, he will say Jnanendriya. Jnanendriyas means your start with smell, the nose. That has a function. So you look at the nose and say which smells, and say this is not Atman. This is only an organ of knowledge. Jnana.
Right.
It just inhales and understands what is the smell. It also, within that, there's the Panchabhutas. It is able to experience all the five elements. Earth, and that's what the smell is about. That's the grossest form of Jnanendriya. So that is one. So he says, okay, this is not, definitely, this it relates to the earth. Earth is not Atma. You are not the earth. That means your body is not the body which is made of these five elements, is not Atman.
Right.
Then you go to the next one higher, which is taste. Taste symbolizes the second bhutam, panchabhuta, five elements, which is water. Okay, so that is also not Atman. So whatever we see as liquid forms, whatever we taste, none, and even the action of taste is also not Atman. It is only something which understands or experiences the world. That is not Atman. So one by one, it says this is not Atman, this is not Atman. So through that process, you go through 20 gross elements, which is what Kapila said. None of this is Atman. So you have counted 20 and the stula is out. Okay, then you go and count the next one, which is mind, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. We have a mind which perceives. Then there is a buddhi which discriminates. Then there is chittam which collects all impressions. That is also not Atman. Then there's ahankara. That is which we identify. I am a separate entity in this world. I. That is also not Atman. Then you go beyond that and then you experience real Atman. Ahankara is attributing that Atman to somebody or something. That is all, that tendency of the mind is also not Atman. So this way of looking at each one and discarding it as non-Atman is the process of Sankhya.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you after that you have counted everything in this world, whatever is perceived. Then you say we discard it. In the Upanishads, there's also a concept called neti, na iti, not this.
Right.
Not this. Not this. So 24 times, I mean, different numbers are given at different places. But the whole idea is you look at everything and say, this is not Atman, discard it. Don't spend your life on this. That is the whole idea. You know, some people, sometimes we like to listen to some music. Don't spend time on that. We like to eat food and enjoy life. That is not important. That is not Atman. Give that up. So this process of discrimination and rejecting everything as anatman is the process of Sankhya.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
taking count.
Oh, okay.
But that's why I said enumeration. It's just because it's just a literal translation of the word Sankhya.
Okay. Thank you.
Swami has, maybe hopefully one of these days, when one of the excerpts you will come across why it is called Sankhya and so on. Swami has touched it.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Hi, Ram brother. I just want to ask you something. I think we learned this 21 says 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 kosas, 5 pranas, that's 20. And then with Om, it's 21. That's what we learned before.
The 21 covers the entire Antakarana.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So Antakarana, again, see, Swami has just put one because even in the Antakarana is actually divided into 5. And the 5, but of this, the 4 are anatma. Okay, so Swami has put that one as the 21st. There are the discourses on this also. Maybe I can share the reference of the discourse. Swami has covered this also, sister. So once we do that, then we are ready to see the Lord. That is how after 21 Omkaram, we chant the Suprabhata. So that means we have discarded everything and now we go to the Paramatma. Because that one also includes the Jivatma also, the last 21st Om. Because Jivatma, that separates identification also, we have to go transcend that. And that is what the 21 Omkaram signifies. You transcend the 21 and then you are ready to have the darshan of the Lord. So that is a 21 Omkaram, and then we go to Suprabhatam. I hope.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will now start. I think we spent some time. I hope it's not too long session today, but we'll see how it goes. This is the first verse of the Sankhya Yoga, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sanjaya Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtamashru Purnakulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Madhusudanah. Sanjaya Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtamashru Purnakulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Madhusudanah. Sanjay Uvacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtamashru Purnakulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanah. Just to touch upon some of the letters. Tatha, the second word, is also an aspirated consonant. Second letter in the Ta varga. Kripaya Vishta, the Ush is cerebral sh. The tip of the tongue should point upwards. Ashru Purnakulekshanam. That ksha also is made of two letters. Ik and sh. That second letter sh is also cerebral sh. Vishidanta. That Vishi also the same sh, cerebral sh. The Vakyamuvacha. Madhu. This dhu is also an aspirated consonant, which is the fourth letter in the third class of consonants. Okay. We'll look at some sandhi split. Tam tatha kripaya. This kripaya vishta mashru purna kulekshanam. It's one very long compound word. Kripaya is the first part. Avishtam. The ya and a together becomes ya again. Kripaya vishtam. The avishtam and ashru becomes and a becomes ma. Avishtam ashru. Purna. Ashru purna, there's no change due to sandhi. Purna akula, there is change. Na and a become purna, longer na. Akule, the l and e join to make le. Okay, akulekshana. Okay, so this are just, if you take the next word line, Vishidantam idam, the and e together, and e becomes mi. Vishidantam idam. The next is Vakyam Uvacha. Ukyam, the and u make mu. Vakyam Uvacha. But when split, there are two words, Matyam, Vakyam, and Uvacha. The last word is Madhusudana. It's the name of Krishna. There are no sandhi related changes, but it's a compound word. But I just want to distinguish each of the words, distinct words. So I put a dash. Madhusudana. Okay, we will look at word-to-word meaning now. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya spoke. I think all of you know that Sanjaya was the one who was appointed to give a running commentary to Dhritarashtra, who was blind and who wanted to know what was happening in the battlefield. So this is being narrated by Sanjaya. So in the rest of all the entire Bhagavad Gita, you will find Sanjaya speaking because he was telling Dhritarashtra what was happening in the battlefield. So Sanjaya is describing something to Dhritarashtra. So what is he saying? Yes. Tam tatha. Tam means that. Okay. To him also, actually, I think I should put. I would put to him also. Okay, just okay. Sorry to, I think I overlooked that. Tam means to him. Who? It's Arjuna. Okay. And to Arjuna, tata, in this manner. So in the first chapter, which is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga, because Arjuna looks at the opposing army and he gets upset. He gets sad that, he's going to fight his relatives, his uncles, his grandfather, his guru, all of them are on the other side with whom he's going to wage battle, and that shakes him up. So what happens to him? That is all described in the first chapter, which is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So this is referring to that. Tata means in that manner, whichever I have already told you. What has happened? Kripaya means with pity. Kripaya is, I've used the word pity here. Generally, sometimes people can say it's compassion also, but here the way it is used is there are many aspects of compassion also, but in this case, Arjuna is exhibiting pity. Kripaya avishtam. Avishtam means he is just overwhelmed by that. Normally, by compassion, no one should be overwhelmed. But pity overwhelms people. So that's why I have used the word pity here. Kripaya avishtam. Because Swami is using that later on, so we can see. So Arjuna had pity on the people who are going to be killed, and he was overwhelmed. Ashru Purna. Ashru means tears. Tears. Purna means filled. Akula Ikshana. The eyes themselves were very agitated. So apparently Arjuna's eyes became very agitated and they were filled with tears. That was the state of Arjuna. He felt like crying. Vishidantam. Vishidantam means one, Vishidanta means one who is in despair, so down, almost depressed. He was despairing. Vishidantam. To this person, so that that Arjuna is, these are all adjectives of that Arjuna. He was Kripaya Avishtam, he was overwhelmed with pity. His eyes were filled with tears and agitated, and he was in despair. To that Arjuna, idam, this, vakyam, I've used the word statement, uvacha, spoke, or said. Who said that? Madhusudana. The Madhusudana, Krishna spoke this vakyam. Vakyam means, I've used the word statement. Statements also you can say, or these words, whichever way you want to put it. So it is the introduction to chapter 2 in some ways, but Krishna is going to respond to Arjuna for the first time in the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna, Sanjaya is just prefacing that with this verse. Okay. He is describing what was the state of Arjuna. Okay. I have given a short summary. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, Krishna, the killer of Madhu. Madhusudana means one who destroys Madhu. That's the meaning of Madhu. Swami has given lots of meanings for this Madhusudana, which I did not accept. Swami says Madhu means that which is sweet also. Madhu is also considered a Rakshasa. He was killed. So he was called Madhusudana. But Swami says Madhu means that which is very sweet and addictive. Madhu, people can, intoxicant also is Madhu. So what is a real intoxicant which Krishna kills? Swami says it's Ahankara. The sense of I is the one which all of us enjoy thoroughly. That Madhu is killed by Krishna. That's identification with the body, is that Madhu, which we are intoxicated, deluded with. The killer of that is the Krishna. So the choice of word is also such that ignorance is also Madhu. Ignorance, we are happy to be ignorant. We enjoy being ignorant because it gives us the feeling that we are enjoying life. So that is killed by Krishna. Okay, Madhusudana, the killer of Madhu, spoke this statement to Arjuna, who was agitated with eyes filled with tears and in despair, overwhelmed with pity. Okay, that's summary. Now let's do an excerpt of Swami's discourse from Swami's writing from the Gita Vahini, chapter 2. The first chapter is better named Arjuna Gita rather than Krishna Gita. Overcome by sorrow and delusion, Arjuna turns from war and keeps aside his weapons. He is dejected in his chariot, halted between the two opposing forces. He turns this way and that, puzzled and perturbed. He surveys the faces of his kith and kin. He is overcome by pity. So you can see, this is what I picked up for that Kripaya Vishta. His famous bow slips from his grasp. He is too weak to stand or even sit. His mind wanders into the dictates of the Purva Mimamsa school of thought. He swears he will not engage in fighting. When Sanjay reported this to the blind king Dhritarashtra, he was overjoyed, for victory was within grasp. He had neither foresight nor farsight, much less the divine vision. So he felt happy that his dream of an undiminished empire had come true, without bother. Swami is mentioning Purva Mimamsa. We will cover that at some point. Purva Mimamsa is, when I mentioned Shad Darshanas at the beginning, there are 6 schools of philosophy in India. One of them is Purva Mimamsa, which is the path of action. The karma mind, the Vedas, there are the karma marga is all the actions in all the rituals and things like that. Those are all called Purva Mimamsa school of thought. Purva Mimamsa deals with prescribed actions, the benefits of them, and so on. So that is covered under Purva Mimamsa. Then there is something called Uttara Mimamsa. Uttara Mimamsa is the school of Advaita. Okay, Vedanta, Advaita is Uttara Mimamsa. So Swami is mentioning that. So whatever Arjuna was telling, or is going to tell a little while ago, in the next few verses also, after Krishna finishes speaking, he takes certain principles of Purva Mimamsa and discusses with Arjuna, with Krishna. Okay, so let's continue. But Sanjaya, who had divine vision, felt, what is this insane joy which is affecting him? When the Lord is himself on the side of Pandavas, how can this king's wicked plan succeed? Then he pictured to himself the ghastly consequences of Arjuna jumping into the fray. But Arjuna had teardrops falling down his cheeks. There were whirlpools in his eyes. Even the Lord could not bear the sight. He could not remain silent. He felt the pulse beat of Arjuna and diagnosed the malady. He knew in a trice that the malady of moha, delusion caused by false evaluation, had penetrated his 3 bodies, the gross, the subtle, and the causal. The pity that enveloped Arjuna was not genuine, he saw. For genuine pity will be endowed with Daivi Sampat, divine elevating impulses and motives. It will not disregard the orders of the Lord. It was really egoism under the veil of pity. So the Lord decided to cure him of that weakness. Kripaya Vishtam, the Gita says. Arjuna was helpless, overwhelmed by pity, and that had to be cured. Just as a spirit entering a person has to be exorcised, Arjuna has to be freed from fear and cowardice. For he who has the Lord by his side need entertain no fear. What can any bhuta, spirit, do to the one who is Lord of all the five bhutas, elements? Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. The Lord is the supreme doctor. Narayana was the doctor. Arjuna needed and got. So, okay, so this is also from second chapter. But because Swami mentioned Daivi Sampat, I thought I will pick up from another excerpt of Swami where he's talking about what is Daivi Sampat. So what Swami is saying, if we have genuine pity or compassion, we will have Daivi Sampat. But what Arjuna was exhibiting was not that. So I thought, why don't we study some aspects of Daivi Sampat, which Swami is talking about. So I did an excerpt from another chapter in the Gita Vahini, which is the 25th chapter in the Gita Vahini, where Swami is talking about Daivi Sampat versus Asuri Sampat. Deivasura Sampat Vipaga Yoga. That's the 15th chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita Vahini, Swami is discussing it in the 25th chapter. Okay, so its excerpt is from there. Krishna, you say that those who recognize the world as mere world cannot claim to know the Vedas. They must recognize it as God, Paramatma. The world is an effect, so it cannot be different from the cause. How is this possible? The world that is seen by us is subject to growth and decay. God or Paramatma is, on the other hand, eternal, true, unaffected by change. There can be no affinity between water and fire. Is it not? How can these two be one? Please tell me. I shall be most happy to hear you, said Arjuna. Well, Arjuna, in the cognizable world, every single thing displays its characteristics, guna. The guna depends upon the owner, the possessor. There's a basis and adhara for the characteristics possessed by every object and being in the world. The adhara is the Atma. Fix your attention on the unchanging basis, not on the fluctuating manifestations. Or else you flounder in the flux. Just as the seed is the basis for the trunk, boughs, branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers of a tree, the Prakriti or Prapancha, or the world, is the tree that emanates from the seed, Atma. Prapancha is the permutation and combination of the five elements which are latent in the basis, the Atma. Consider the Atma, which is the base, as essential. For it is as its manifestation that the world is expressed. He who has grasped this truth through steady discipline deserves the name Vedavid, one who has mastered the Vedas. But without deep inquiry, without discriminating between the real and the unreal, if one mistakes a seen alone to be the last thing and argues so, he is losing his way. How can he reach the goal? How can he attain the reality? The yearning to know this reality comes of Daivi Sampatti, Godward attributes. The Asuri Sampatti, demonic tendency, is the opposite tendency which makes a man argue that he has known when he has not, which keeps him away from all attempts to know, which induces him to establish untruth as truth. As soon as the Lord finished saying this, Arjuna raised his head in astonishment and said, Gopala, you are declaring so far that the Atma is the basis for all characteristics and for all beings. That is to say, you are declaring that you were the basis. Meanwhile, you have started talking about two distinct attributes, Daivi Sampatti, divine qualities, and Asuri Sampatti, devilish qualities. I am getting confused. I am at a loss to decide which to accept, which to reject. Arjuna, your question is even stranger. You say that I never speak a word that has no meaning and do a deed that has no significance, yet you worry over the problem which among my statements you have to accept and which you have to reject. This is senseless anxiety and hesitation. My dear brother-in-law, the Devas and the Asuras are not two separate distinct groups. They are so divided on the basis of the distinction in characteristics. Well, the characteristics of gunas are artificial. They are not of the essence of consciousness. I have already told you about them. The potter makes pots, pans, and plates. These latter are not essentially parts of the clay out of which they were shaped. The pot, pan, and plate are artificial forms of the clay. The names too are artificial. These names and forms are the gunas or characteristics. The substance or adhara or basis is clay. The shapes, names, and forms, the manifestations, the expressions are pots, pans, and plates. Clay is natural. Pots, pans, and plates are artificial. Take it that the clay is the basis, the sahaja is my swarupa, reality. In the names, forms, the expressions, the pots, etc. are not in me, but I am in them. I have no gunas, but I am in the gunas. Note this. Therefore, do not try to keep clay and pots apart as two distinct entities. That cannot be correct. It is not possible either. Krishna, tell me what is the relationship between your Swabhava, reality, truth, and the Swarupa, Prakriti, the objective world. I have told you already that the five elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, are my Swabhava, my attributes. That is this objective world, except the combination of five elements. Objective world, what is this objective world except the combination of the five elements? What else can you call it? Krishna, without the five, nothing can exist in this world. Is it not? Then how can I deny them? Existence is bound with them. When you accept the five elements, you have to agree to the fivefold proliferation of each element, making in all 25 tattvas or principles. Only four elements, earth, water, fire, and air, are evident and perceptible. But ether or sky is the basis for all. So too, manas, buddhi, manas, mind, the buddhi, intellect, chitta, memory, ahankara, ego are all four cognized by experience. But the antakarana, the inner instrument, which is their basis, can only be inferred. All things of which we are aware are but manifestations of a thing, of which we are unaware. They derive their strength and support from the unseen. That unseen basis of which you are unaware is I, myself, the Atma. All are based on me. That which is based is subject to change, growth, decline, and modification. But the base or adhara should not therefore be taken as subject to change. For example, consider the moon and its reflection in water. The image of the moon in the water is not steady. It shakes and quivers. It's the water that shakes and quivers, not the moon above. Ignorant people who are like children infer that the moon is itself shaking. The transference of the characteristics of the adheya on the adhara is the fundamental asuric quality. The recognition of the eternality and truth of the adhara, even in the adheya, that is the real Daivi Sampatti, God-directed nature. Arjuna listened intently and with steady attention to all this. Then he queried, Madhava, you said that it is the inherent quality of nature that distinguishes these two. Which qualities make the asuric and which, therefore, Daivi natures, please clarify. Krishna replied, Arjuna, I am ever willing to clarify. I only need listeners who are steady and intent. Hear this with unwavering attention. Fearlessness, purity of emotions, awareness of unity of all creation, charity, control of the senses, sacrifice, study, asceticism, straightforwardness, nonviolence, integrity, equanimity, absence of anger or resentment, detachment, inner peace, refraining from scandal mongering and talking ill of others, sympathy, absence of greed, sweetness and softness of speech, fear of adharmic acts, absence of fluctuations in the mind, courage during disaster, patience and fortitude, steadiness, cleanliness, harmlessness, humility. These 25 holy qualities are the traits of Daivi Sampatti, the divine endowment. Pride, pomp, vanity, anger, harshness, and absence of discrimination are the components of the Asuric endowment of man. Persons having those qualities are infused with the Asuric character. Though for all outward appearance they may be humans, they do not deserve that name. Those who have the aforesaid qualities are known as men with divine parts. Those who have the Asuric attributes are known as Danava Manavas, demonic humans. Some men esteem themselves as part divine, but they have all these attributes that should characterize them. Or have they at least daya, sympathy, dharma, morality, paropakara, service of others, and samatvam, equanimity. If they have these at least in a small measure, they can be regarded as divine. Instead, if the full battery of Asuric equipment is evident in them, how can their declaration be taken at its face value? It is sheer vanity to pretend so or to claim as such. Vanity and pomp can never be classed as divine. They are unquestionably demonic. Each one can easily analyze himself and decide to which class he belongs. The class is not decided by physical appearance, possessions, status, or authority. For example, consider Ravana. He had the human form, he was an emperor, he was greater than Kubera, the lord of wealth. But can he be considered part divine for these reasons? No. He is declared as a demon on the basis of the gunas he had. Three qualities form the fundamental basis of all Asuric or demonic natures. They are Kama, Krodha, and Lobha, lust, anger, and greed. They destroy the self and foster the demon in man. They have to be overwhelmed and overcome by the divine qualities of Vairagyam, Shantam, and Tyagam, detachment, equanimity, and renunciation. They are warriors to rely on in this fight. Foster these warriors and they will in a trice wipe out the forces of demonic influence. Any trace of force, kama, krodha, lobha, left unsuppressed anywhere is a potential danger. So they must be reduced to ashes. That leads to real success in the struggle for the goal. Desires and attachments are as roots to the tree of life. When the roots are cut asunder, the tree dies. The rate of decline depends upon the speed and effectiveness of the cutting asunder. It will keep sprouting even if a single root is intact. It will not go dry or die. Remove every single root, then the tree perishes and becomes dead wood. The boast of men that they have destroyed all roots in vain, all root is vain if the tree of life is green and growing. The boast of men that they have destroyed all roots is vain if the tree of life is green and growing. So too, the Maya that has possessed the Jivi will perish in proportion to the uprooting of desire, the desire that binds. Some engage themselves in dhyana after reducing to some extent only a few urges and desires. They do not achieve full concentration, nor are they tossed by uncontrollable agitations. They are caught in the intermediate level. What is the reason for this state of things? Full concentration can only from full control of desire. Hence, it is declared that Kama, Krodha, and Lobha are demons that harass man, demons assuming fearful and ugly forms. But it is not a calamity to have ugly faces or frightful forms. At the worst, he may be called repulsive, that's all. It is the repulsive character, the ugly nature that marks the calamity. A person may be beautiful in appearance. He may have a parrot-like chatter that is sweet to the ear, but for these reasons he cannot be regarded as divinely endowed, born with divine parts, Daivamsha. If demonic nature simmers in them, physical beauty and sweetness of voice cannot entitle them for divinity. The words that emanate from them are vulgarized into hammer strokes and dagger thrusts. Thus, Asuri Sampatti, devilish quality, and Daivi Sampatti, divine quality, are related to the qualities and not that compose the nature and behavior of the individual and not to the physical form and appearance. So, because Swami used the word Daivi Sampatti, I picked this up. And as you can see, Swami has also covered the 25 aspects, which is also part of Sankhya. So you can see many other chapters also are actually dealing with the same content of the second chapter. It's 8:58. If you're okay, I will do one more verse. Yes, Sister Vani.
Sairam brother, in that previous page, there was a word, there was a sentence called life is green and growing. What does that mean, brother?
Yeah, you zeroed on it. The thing is, what Swami says is, when Swami says we will think all of us are alive and growing, that what it means is if we are still engaged in the world, that's what Swami is referring to. People may say I'm detached, but they are still living in the world, actively involved. They will say, oh, I'm mentally detached, but they are fully engrossed in the world. That's what Swami is meaning. I think I should take the exact Telugu word. But Swami is sort of sarcastically saying, but it also means, which means even if we die, we will be again born. We will be born again and again, as long as it is not completely every root, every single desire, without any residue is completely removed. That's what I understand. I hope that.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, I will just read maybe if we don't complete it, I will just spend about 15 minutes. I hope you all are okay. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So Krishna is responding. Kutastva kashmalamitam vishame samupastitam anaryajustam aswargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Kutastva kashmalamitam vishame samupasthitam अनार्यजुष्टम अस्वर्ग्यम अकीर्तिकरम अर्जुन. श्री भगवान वाच कुतस्त्वा कश्मलमिदं विषमे समुपस्थितम अनार्यजुष्टम अस्वर्ग्यम अकीर्तिकरम अर्जुन. Just to quickly go through letters which you pay attention. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Bha is aspirated. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame, that Shra is cerebral Shra. Samupasthitam, the Tha in this is aspirated. Samupasthitam. Anaryajustam aswargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. No aspirated consonants here. But it's a very long samasa made of three small ones. Let's look at the sandhi split. Kutahatva. Kutahatva transforms into kutastva. Okay. The visarga becomes is because of sandhi. That's how you get kutastva. Kashmalam idam, kashmalam and idam, and e becomes mi. Kashmalam idam, kashmalam idam. Vishame samupasitam. I've just, the sum I have just separated so that you understand. Upastitam. The second line is made of anarji jushtam, asvargyam, akirtikaram, arjuna. So there are 4 distinct words. In all cases, the sandhi is the same. And a becomes ma. Anarja jushtam asvargyam becomes anarja jushtam masvaryam. Asvargyam. Asvargyam and akirtikaram, and a becomes ma. So it becomes asvargyam akirtikaram. Akirtikaram and Arjuna becomes Akirtikara Marjuna. And a becomes ma. So there's and a are joining in all cases. But there are distinct 4 words. Let's look at the meaning. Sri Bhagavan, that's Lord Krishna, Bhagavan, who I just said. This is the first time he's starting to speak. What is he doing? Kutaha, from where? The word taha generally means from some place. Okay. Kutaha, from which place? From where? Twa is the second vibhakti or the second noun form of the word tvam, you. So that's used in an objective sense. In an object and statement, the twa becomes an object. Okay. Twa, to you. You can say to you also. Kasmalam. Kasmalam is despair. Okay, from where has this despair come to you? Idam means this. Vishame. Vishame means in crisis, in Visham. Okay, Visham means also it means crisis. In this crisis, what has happened to you? Samupasthitam. Samupasthitam, it's some and upasthitam. In it come upon you. Some also means completely. Okay. What is this despair which has come completely overcome you? Okay. Then this state of yours is anarya jushtam. So this anarya jushtam means that which is I've translated that is not fit. Okay, jushta. Anarya. Okay. Arya jushta means that is fit for arya. The word arya is also used. Many people misunderstand the word Aryans. When you see Arya, they will see somebody came from some country into India. They are called Aryans. Arya in Sanskrit means one who is a respectable person, one who acts in a respectable way. That person is Arya. The word Ayya in Tamil is actually related to Arya. So when you look at somebody and address them, Arya is the terminology used to address a person, or respectable sir. Sir, you can say. That means a person who is worthy of respect is Arya. Anarya Jushta means one who is not respect worthy. So Krishna is telling your current state is something which is not fit for a respectable person. Anarya Jushta. Asvargyam means Asvarga means heaven. Asvarga means it's not heavenly. That means opposite. It may be hell, hellish behavior. Not of heaven. Your behavior is not that of heaven. That means you are not fit for heaven. Asvarga. Akirtikara. Kirti means fame, reputation. Kirtikara means that which makes you reputable. Akirtikara means that which will bring you disrepute. Okay. So Krishna, that's how he's starting. He's looking at Arjuna and saying, a summary. Bhagavan said, "Oh Arjuna, from where has this despair come upon you in this crisis? It is not fit for it is not fit for respectable men. That is not fit for heaven, which brings disrepute. Your current state is so shameful, so he is calling, he's calling out to Arjuna and saying, you are behaving in a manner which is not fit for a man. Okay, so that is what he's doing. Let's read a small excerpt of Swami. It's not very long. From chapter 2 of the Gita Vahini. This cowardice brings shame on you and even on your far-famed forefathers. Fie on you! You have dragged down the Kshatriya race into disgrace. War is the royal road for your kind, the road which leads to heaven. How can you escape infamy if you withdraw from the field now? You have earned the title Vijaya by the prowess of your arm. Do not tarnish the reputation you have won by a lifetime of effort. Give up this weakening delusion. Listen to me. Remind yourself of what happened at Amaravati. You disregarded the approaches of the divine damsel Urvasi. And when she wanted a son through your grace, you replied, take me as your son. And that revealed you as an incomparable hero. The curse that she spelt on you in her discomfiture helped you at the court of the Virata king to pass off as an eunuch. Teaching dance to the royal princesses, is it not? Where has that heroism gone? Tell me, how has this pusillanimity come over such a stalwart? You came to me and disturbed me in sleep with your request for help in this battle from which you are now running away. Am I to help you thus? Have I to watch while you are fleeing? Pluck this delusion by the roots. Reduce this fear into ashes. Become a hero again. Thus exhorted Krishna. Krishna uses 4 words in this context. Kasmalam, ignorance. Anarya Jushtam, character that's harmful to the divine nature in each. Aswargyam, quality that destroys the divine in man. And Akirtikaram, quality that causes the decline of wealth that is lasting. These inspiring words that will make the blood of any Kshatriya boil had a tremendous effect on Arjuna. The thick cloud of ignorance which had overwhelmed Arjuna started to melt a little. The tamas, dullness, delusion which had made him forget the truth got removed. Rajoguna, passionate emotion, returned, and Arjuna found words to ask, Katham, how? That term reveals much. It shows that the Gita expounds not merely what has to be done, even how it has to be done. So that is the end of today's session. So Krishna interrupts Arjuna or answers Arjuna. He was berating himself in the first chapter continuously. So Arjuna is asking a question which sort of turns the tide of sorts. So he basically accuses him. He abuses him also, so that Kshatriya will right away, how can you call me with these words? And Arjuna is shaken. So Swami is saying he's taken from tamas to rajas. It's like a person who is sleeping first has to be woken up. So that's what Krishna does with these words. And so these are the 2 verses of the chapter 2. We'll continue next week. I will stop here if there are any questions. Yes, Sairam says Sumati.
Yeah, Sairam, I just want to know what is the story behind Sanjay got the vision to see Kurukshetra and relate that one to Dhritarashtra. Was this sight given forever or for this purpose only?
From what I understand, sister, you're asking a question. I will have to do some research and come back. But my recollection is that Sanjay always had this as a blessing, an ability to see at a distance. Okay, this is there are people even today on earth, I guess, who have this kind of ability to see something far away. Some people say it can be cultivated also. So I will get back to you by the next session.
Okay,
After doing
thank you.
some more
And
research.
also, I just want to know, he was able to see the Vishwarupam of Krishna also at the same time. So he was the only one who was able to see that with his own eyes.
See, generally, I think we will not touch the Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa is not that suddenly Krishna took a form and he grew into, what we see in the cinema.
Yeah, that happened during the war time.
So that's the way it is portrayed in cinemas and so on. Vishwarupam is Krishna gave the ability for Arjuna to see the entire world as the Lord. Okay, so when he saw the entire world as Lord, it was a blessing of Krishna for Arjuna to be able to see the Vishwarupa Darshan. Okay. It was, of course, Sanjay is describing it, so he was blessed with that. Okay. The thing is, because he was so in tune, he was able to witness. So the thing is, if suddenly Krishna appeared like that on the battlefield, everyone who was assembled also would have seen if it was a physical darshan. So it is not a physical darshan.
I see. It's not for Arjuna only then, it's for everyone who was in the
Actually, everyone is capable of watching it. Okay, by cultivating the understanding that the entire world is God. So, but generally, it is not humanly possible to process that also. And that's why Arjuna says, Krishna, I can't bear this.
Yeah.
At the end of it. That means it is not a physical darshan, It was an ability to perceive the world as Krishna. So that's the way I would put it. It's like when Yashoda saw the entire world in Krishna's mouth, did anyone else see? Is a question. It is not a physical manifestation. It is a state of mind, a state of perception is my understanding. So I hope that answers. But yes, Sanjaya, because he is also describing it in the Bhagavad Gita. So he also had some idea of it. I don't know whether he had the exact same experience which Arjuna had. And that's my understanding, but that's also another question. I will do some research and come back.
Sorry, one more question. So how many times he had that Vishwarupam? 3 or 4 times I heard. I'm not very sure about that. So you can please find that one for me. How many times he had the Vishwarupam? Krishna had the Vishwarupam for.
See, Krishna didn't become that. Krishna made Arjuna perceive Krishna as this entire world. Okay. So at the end of that chapter, which is chapter 11, Krishna tells Arjuna, I gave you a glimpse of this. You don't even deserve it today. But I gave a glimpse so that you will work towards it. Ideally, everyone should be able to have Vishwarupa Darshana. It's not that Krishna is only took Vishwarupa Darshana once. Krishna is eternally Vishwarupa. Swami also once apparently had told everyone, I'm going to give Vishwarupa Darshanam, go to the airfield or something like that. And people from Prashanthanilayam went there thinking that suddenly Swami is going to come there and then he will grow into some giant shape, which did not happen. But when Swami says, go and see the world, means go and experience the world as me. I think that's my understanding, sister.
Okay,
It's not a physical manifestation, though that's the way people see. Many of these concepts are taken very literally by people and depicted in films and things like that. And we also imagine suddenly he was growing. So then Arjuna saw himself as part of the darshan. He was also in the Vishwarupa. So from where was Arjuna seeing? Was he seeing from within or within out? So it was an experience which Krishna gave for Arjuna to experience him part of the entire universe, which is God. That's my understanding. But it also gave him the ability to see the entire universe, just the way God would see it. That's my understanding. So it was only a glimpse. So that Arjuna could experience for a fraction of a few moments the entire world as the Lord. That's my understanding. So I will stop here.
Thank you so much.
Clear.
Uncle, in the word samupasthitam, usually like some means in a good way or that kind of thing. Does it have that meaning here as well? So we're saying,
So some has completely in this
okay.
case. So you see, some it has multiple meanings. Okay, some is I would generally it is completely. Its completeness is also divine. Okay, but in this case, it has completed overtaken him. Upasthita means sthita is to be established. Upa means nearby. So something which has come and taken over completely is the way I would mean. In this context, some would means completely overwhelmed,
Right.
is the way I would put it.
And is there a difference between Anaryan and Anarya Jushta? Like, what's the Jew coming from here?
Jushta means that which is fit. Simply put, I can give you a exact etymology. Arya Jushta means that which is fit for a respectable person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question, because in the first verse, we're saying that Arjuna was overwhelmed by pity. I would think that he would feel pity if he was so confident that he's going to kill all these other people. Like he's going to, like he's so confident that they're going to win and all these other people are going to die, and that's why he's overwhelmed by pity. But here, what Krishna's saying is you're being a coward and you're timid and shy and you're running away. So, was Arjuna really feeling cowardly or?
So the thing is, he was withdrawing from acting. Okay. He was covered means he was scared that he's going to cause harm. Okay. Scared from an action. He was running away from an action which can cause problem. So in a sense, he was scared of that action of killing people.
Oh, so he was scared of the consequences of doing such an action,
Exactly.
not
So,
the action itself. It was
so in turn, it became scared of the action.
right. Okay.
He didn't want somebody to die, and he thinks this action is going to cause. So then it's like, if we want to do something bad and if we think that people find out, we are scared of doing it. So that kind of fear is covered this also. I think in that sense only Swami has used. That's why the word pity I use. Kripa, compassion misplaced is pity. Generally in a compassion state, the positive qualities of us should come out. Okay, how can I help the person? For example, if somebody meet with an accident, if you stand there and cry, it does not help. Okay, so that is not a worthy action to perform. Someone should be swing into action and fix the problem. So in this case, there are 2-3 things happening. The problem has not happened. He has imagined, number one. Number two, Krishna also feels this pity comes out of a sense of attachment. Later on, he's explaining, you killed so many people so far in your life. Well, you didn't have this pity at that time. Why are you feeling it now? So I think those are questions. So you are scared only because you were not scared of killing people in the past. But now you are scared. You are scared only because you have become weak by your sense of attachment to people. And I think that's in that sense also covered is weakness is used by Swami. I hope.
Yes, thank you so much, Uncle.
Please note, next Saturday we will not have the Sanskrit class session. We'll meet in 2 weeks' time, Saira. We'll close with Samasta Loka prayer. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.